All right. Uh, going to continue our project here for Engineering 1, our logo project. I'm going to go back to one I had already kind of started in the demonstration video here. So you open up Autodesk Inventor. If it doesn't show it in that bottom area, that's not a big deal. You'll have to find it. You go to File, Open, if it's not right in that bottom area. And if you remember, you saved it in that Inventor folder, right? You go all the way down to your student user, and you go to that Inventor folder. It was generated, and you'd open it that way. All right. Now the big thing here is, all right, when you come back to a sketch that you were already working on, the big thing is you don't start another sketch. All right, this is a mistake kids make all the time. They start another sketch, and they'll complete it, and they'll say, "Wait a minute, why is this connected to the other part of the sketch? What's going on here?" Because it's a different sketch. You can't connect drawings between two different sketches. So you want to continue what you were doing in your browser over here on the left, your model browser. You find the sketch you're working on, and you double click it. And of course, it's going to be like upside down or something, and you're going to want to rearrange that view maybe. I don't know. Then you just continue it. So I'm going to continue this kind of fast up here so that I can show you what's going on. All right. So hold on one second. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to draw some more lines here. I'm going to start down the bottom of this green part now. I'm going to connect it up to here. Now, you want to make sure it links up to this line, right? But the way it's snapping around, I don't like, it's not linking up nicely. I got on that line. Sometimes the way it snaps, it won't link up. So I want to show you something. You can actually make your line. You can hold down the control button again. That just kills the snapping action of your cursor. You hold down the control. You drag it where you want. You can actually make it go beyond. So it wants me to draw another line. I'm going to hit escape. You can actually make it go beyond the other line and then trim off the extra. So if you make it go right over top, then you use the trim tool here. You use that trim tool. You click the trim tool, then you click the part you want to trim off. It'll actually make it just the right length so it stops at that line. All right. You don't have to do that, but sometimes it's helpful. Now, what's going on over here? Oh, yeah, I had some different ideas of how I wanted to do that. Well, I'm going to make a spline now. Control vertex. I'm going to connect it up there. Now, you want it to turn green like that. Then you know it's connected, right? And now I'm going to continue this spline around the corner. It's kind of going off the screen a little bit, but that's okay. All right, so I made that. You grab this little hand over here to move it around where you want it. Got a problem. Oh, okay. I'm going to continue this line. Going to connect up here. I'm going to draw it down to here. And in a second, I'm going to show you how to extrude it. Let me finish this green part. I'm almost done. All right, hit escape. I'm going to make another spline. I'm going to connect it here. I'm looking for it to turn green to make sure it's actually okay. See, it's trying to snap weird places, so I'm going to hold down Control on the keyboard, and then I'm going to click my way around this round part here until I get back to the next straight part. Hit the check mark. Now I got one last line to make. Green, turn green, turn green. I know it's connected. All right, so I got two parts drawn here. I'll save the other part. You know why I'm at it? Well, I'll show that in a second. I hit finish sketch. So there's my sketch. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to extrude this blue part up a 1/2 inch. I'm going to extrude the green part up maybe like 0.4 inches or something. So it's a different height there. Or I'll show you both ways, actually. So if I hit extrude now, that's this button up here, this extrude button. This is going to take that shape we drew and make it solid. And what's nice, if you let your mouse just sit there for a second, it brings up a description of what that tool does. It's kind of nice. So extrude, so this is a little bit hard to see, but when you drag the mouse over top of it, It kind of highlights it. If you have a complicated drawing, this is hard to see sometimes. All right, so you got to be careful. Sometimes your mouse will be on the part you want to highlight, but it's highlighting like weird other parts of your drawing that you don't want it to highlight. And I'll explain that in a second. So 0.1 inch, that's too big. So I click those both. I'll make them 0.5. 0.5 inches. Now, you can change the direction of it if you want, up or down. I'm going to make it go up. And later on, you'll see you can make it different cuts and different techniques here as well. Now, if I hit OK, watch what happens. Your sketch disappears. Kids are always freak out when that happens. Where'd my sketch go? How am I supposed to do the other part? Well, it's still there, right? You see how it's shaded there? That means it's not visible anymore. It's there, but they're hiding it so you can't see it, so it doesn't make the screen look too busy. Well, I'm going to right click on that sketch, and right down here it says visibility. If I click that, it'll bring it back so I can still see it. Now, what I don't like about this is that my extrusion, it kind of just blends together. I can't tell that that's two different kind of parts of my shape, right? It's just this solid hunk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my extrusion, double click it. I'm going to click the profile arrow. Well, it's not going to let me change it at this point. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this extrusion. So I right click on it in the browser and I hit delete. Now this next window is very important. It says additionally delete consumed sketches and features. What this would do is it would actually delete your sketch as well. We don't want that. We want to uncheck that and hit OK. So the extrusion's gone, but my sketch is still there. So when I extrude it now, I'm going to do just this part, 1/2 inch. I'm going to hit OK. My sketch disappeared. That's not a big deal. I just go, that doesn't disappear every time. It only disappears on the first extrusion for some reason. So now when I extrude it, I'm going to extrude the other part now. I'm going to make it go not as high up. I'll make it 0.4. You see, that adds like a little bit of three-dimensional effect. That'll cast a shadow. It'll be good. Notice now when I hit OK, the sketch stayed. So now let's say I want to trace that blue part. I'm going to just go back into sketch 1 again. All right. I'm just going to keep going back into sketch 1. And if you can't find sketch 1 is now associated with that extrusion. So you can click that little arrow to see sketch 1 again. Now I'm going to trace the blue part. Now you might want to put it on some kind of base, right? So I'm going to just draw a rectangle around this. Some of your pieces I could see aren't actually all connected to one another. Like there's a circle and then like something around it. They're not actually connected. So you're going to need to put them on some kind of plate. So I used a rectangle here. You might want to use something different. You might use a circle, whatever. I'm actually going to draw 2 rectangles here. All right, I'm not going to carefully dimension them. I probably should, but I'm just trying to quickly show you just some ideas. I'm going to hit finish sketch. I'm going to extrude the inner part, which again is kind of hard to see. Oh, it automatically selected a cut. So watch out for that. If it turns red, that means it's going to be cutting material. You want it to add material, but I don't want a 0.4. I'm going to make it like 0.1. So now this is going to be sitting on a base. All right. And I made that extra box around the outside. I can select that. I can make a boundary around it or something if I wanted to. That's totally up to you. That doesn't really, you can see how we start to build this, right? So you draw these shapes, you extrude them. My sketch is still in there. It's covered over by the model, but I can still go back and extrude true, and I can finish out that at A. All right, finish sketch. And there we go. And we continue on. All right, any questions? All right, I'm gonna stop the video and give my full attention to my